Recently at Vancouver Regionals, there was a pretty prolific psyspam team that ended up actually making it very far into the tournament, reaching all the way to top 8. And despite this player being most known in this tournament for self-sludge waving their Gallade without clicking wide guard, it still proved to be a very terrifying team built around two very unconventional Pokemon. So today, we're going to try out this Iron Moth Gallade psyspam team and show just how powerful it can be. If you guys enjoy this type of content and want to see more, like and subscribe for more. I'm going to link the paste and as well as the rental code down below so you guys can try it yourselves. And with that said though, let's break down the team really quickly. Starting off, we do have an Iron Crown, which is going to be a special attack boosting set. And with Terra Water, Terra Blast, this is a great way around Pokemon like Incineroar that might put up a decent threat. This is just one of the many ways this team has a way around Incineroar, though it's still great for things like Ursalunas and Ting-Lu, just to have a way to actually properly damage them without relying on Focus Miss. With the Terra Water typing as well, this is great for our Shifu matchup, as especially the Rapid Strike form cannot really touch us. And with our spread overall, we should be really leaning into that damage output. Now, I will say I'm not too sure what the particular spread does here. I just know this is a very terrifying Pokemon overall, and that Expanding Force is just going to hit like an absolute truck against most, if not anything in your way. And overall, it is a great partner, especially with our next pick on the team, which is going to be none other than Ursaluna. Now, this Ursaluna, again, I'm not really too sure what the specific investment is for. I know that overall that this Facade and Headlong Rush duo is going to be a nightmare for most opponents. And with Terra Ghost typing, we can get around needing to protect instantly against any Fake Out user that might stall through Trick Room. As one of the biggest flaws of regular Ursaluna is just that it is very prone to being stalled out of its own Trick Room. And that Terra Ghost will be a nice long way to help getting past that, because the only priority you really need to fear at that point is just Sucker Punch from things like King Gambit. Though at the very least, you can force that Sucker Punch and then in tandem with your Psychic Terrain, really massacre through it. The Terra Ghost though is still really helpful, especially out of terrain, and it's also great into a lot of fighting attacks, as fighting is one of your very few weaknesses you have in Ursaluna. With the Flame Orb Guts overall, it is really difficult to actually take a hit from this Pokemon, and usually even after an Intimidate, Pokemon like Lando T do struggle to take a neutral attack. So this is a really good physical breaker for the team, especially out of the terrain. It's just a great way to hit hard. Up next, we're going to use Iron Moth. This Iron Moth is a Terra Grass set, which is going to be great for taking hits from any sort of water type, such as Urshifu Rapid, for example. With Protect, Heat Wave, Sludge Wave, and Meteor Beam, this is a very deadly offensive Pokemon. Unfortunately, it is either Sludge Wave or Acid Spray here, so we don't really have a lot of wiggle room at this point. But the Meteor Beam and Heat Wave duo are going to be really strong options, with Meteor Beam being a great way for Iron Moth to actually viably boost its special attack. And Heat Wave is just a really good fire spread move. And with its 140 special attack stat, this proves to be a very strong offensive monster. And it hits really fucking hard. There are very few Pokemon in this format that actually want to take a hit from Iron Moth, because it is such a terrifying dual stab, especially in tandem with Meteor Beam. Up next, we're going to go with our own Ogerpon. This one's going to be the Wellspring form. This is Spiky Shield, Follow Me, Ivy Cudgel, and Hornleech. Just a really good support piece overall. I will say that I know the attack is at least for the attack bump here. I'm not too sure what the rest of the investment is for on this. I know that at the very least is probably creeping anything it is going for, like that -1 sort of caliber against Pokemon like Chiampao, but even still, I'm not too sure what specifically like the defense and spit F combination is for. I think it might be for like an Iron Bundle hit pre-Terra, if I remember correctly, for the Freeze Dry. I think it's what the spit F HP combo is for. But it's been a while since I've really ran like a defensive Wellspring Ogerpon. It is like since Reg E type of while, so I don't really know the specific calcs here. I think that's kind of what I would eyeball on this spread for, like the speed for the -1 Pokemon that hit like 138 for Icy Wind calcs, and then like the spit F and HP I think is for bundle. Overall though, this is still a really terrifying piece. This team needed a good water type in case of, let's say for example, Iron Crown can't go for Terra, if we maybe need to Terra something like the Iron Moth or one of our later 2 picks. So this proves to just be a nice option as a good offensive water type here, and the Water Grass stabs in general just help a lot with these Trick Room type Pokemon such as the Ursalunas that we might fight, and that spit F boost especially will be amazing for Chiyu Fluttercores. Up next, we're going to be bringing our own Psychic Terrain setter with Indeedee Female. This Terra Fire set will help a lot with the Fluttermane Chiyu matchup especially, and it's just a really good defensive typing on a Pokemon like Indeedee. With Trick Room, Helping Hand, Follow Me, and Dazzling Gleam, this proves to be a very strong way as just a nice support Pokemon. We can Helping Hand boost most of our team, and it will very much benefit from that. But also the Follow Me is just another good form of redirection. Similar to Ogerpon, we can just draw in attacks and get off like one strong hit and then massacre our opponents, because this team has such heavy hitters that really that one turn can make a big difference here. Overall, this is a really good Pokemon on this team, in my opinion, and it is very difficult to actually want to take a hit from just anything next to Helping Hand boost from Indeedee, especially our Psychic Terrain boosted Expanding Force. Overall, this proves to be a very, very prolific support Pokemon, and that Psychic Seed especially will be helping with getting us a nice boost to its special defense. Again, really helping with that Chiyu Flutter combination. Finally, we're going to go with a Clear Amulet Gallade with Terra Grass. Terragrass will help a lot with the Spore Mungus, as this is a really good Trick Room setter in case if Indeedee cannot go for it. The Follow Me into the Indeedee especially will be a great way to do that without needing to burn Terra, but in case of a Mungus is, let's say, next to a strong Rake or, like, I guess, an Urshifu Rapid, that could be a very vital Terra there. With the Trick Room, Wide Guard, Psycho Cut, and Sacred Sword duo, well, a combination of moves, I should say, the Dual Stab in Psycho Cut and Sacred Sword is a very lethal combination, especially with the Psychic Terrain booster Psycho Cut, and Sacred Sword is great around any sort of defensive setup, and they're both boosted by Sharpness, which is an incredible offensive ability. Gallade is enough natural spit F anyways. This actually I found in the battle that we're going to show today. Takes hits from like Flutter Mane without going for a defensive Terra. It's kind of fucking gross. And the Wide Guard though is still a great insurance for things like Expanding Force Pokemon, Torkoal Eruption, and really anything that would get in our way. Trick Room though is great as this gives us another setter that's not in DD, since we don't have Trick Room on our Iron Crown or really any other Pokemon on the team. So in case if we're fighting something like a Tailwind matchup, this is a great insurance against that. In case you want to try the team out yourselves though, we have the rental on screen here as well as the pace in the description below. And with that said, let's get started with today's battles. Alright, for our first game of the day, oh my god, I cannot talk. We are taking on a Blood Moon Trick Room team, which it looks pretty terrifying. It's just like standard Blood Moon with like Urshifu single and all that. I cannot wait until Reg G where we get Rapid Fu back as a dominant Urshifu because it is a lot harder to beat single Fu, I feel like. But okay, we Psyspam. Not the best matchup for us, I can't lie, but it's not terrible. I think realistically that our game plan is to probably lead. I feel like that I'm trying to think. So I think that we should definitely not try to match them with Trick Room. I think that'll only go bad. However, I feel like that leading off with Psyspam is still really good here. We can go for like defensive Terras or like Follow Me's. We're gonna bring like Blood on Iron Moth and then Gallade I think is our back line. Gallade I think especially can do some really decent work here, especially with that Trick Room up. And I think that maybe by like faking that we're gonna go for Trick Room, we can really cook. Wide Guard Gallade should help a lot with that matchup as well because it'll help survive against Blood Moon. And again, I think that by leading off with Psyspam, they're going to assume that we're going to go for like a more slower archetype here. But we're not going to, because I think immediately not going for Terra and instead, well, not going for Trick Room and instead just going for Terra or for Follow Me, I think it'll help a lot more. They're going to bring in Farragon or Shifu. That's perfectly fine. I don't really mind this at all. My play should always just be going for the, I think you should always just go for like Tachyon Cutter immediately and then go for Follow Me here, because that will open up for my Iron Moth to come in, very much so. And I think that's where we're going to get a lot of benefit. They might be Scar for Shifu. I will just have to kind of take it as is. But I don't want to reveal my Terra just yet until I absolutely have to. We're going to go for the Tachyon Cutter though. And then I'm going to go for Follow Me here. I don't really get anything out of clicking Gleam. As nice as it would be to click Gleam into the Urshifu single, just to get some good damage off on it, and once I lose my Iron Crown, pick it off. The issue being is that at that point, I don't really guarantee an attack with the Iron Crown here, because if they are Scarf or Shifu, I do need to redirect that. So I think instead just going for the redirection for that Wicked Blow and just losing my Indeedee, I think it's more beneficial to us long term. So I'm going to do that. Just going for the Tachyon Cutter should do a ton of damage, especially with our special attack boost here. And by drawing in that Urshifu, we can kind of just force them to trade. So I think it'll be, again, better for the long term here. They don't have terrain to reset ours, so I'm kind of okay with losing Indeedee this early on, because it really is just a piece to pressure Urshifu in case they got an attack off. It does not actually look like they're going to. I'm kind of shocked. I really thought that wouldn't have killed, and that we would have had to pick it off in the next attack. But this works out well, actually. Now against their team, I can kind of just click Expanding Force and profit with like a Helping Hand boost, and that should murder their team. Yeah, I think it's fine. If Ursaluna comes in particular, I'm actually just going to go for Terra Water. And I'm going to go for Helping Hand plus Tachyon Cutter into Farig, just to ensure they don't get up triggered. But perfect. Okay, yep. They bring in Wellpawn. Yeah, we're just going to go for the... I'll go for the Terra Water, just to be safe. More so because they're not going to Corn Leech here. And I think I can definitely muscle through them by clicking Terra Water, just to avoid like a Terra Water crit Ivy Cudgel here. Because, especially with like a Helping Hand boost, that Ivy Cudgel could be pretty deadly. And by going for this, I think I can just kind of cook them. They don't really have a lot that's going to want to take on Psyspam. And if I can get the Wellpawn weak enough, I think I can just open up for Iron Moth to take over. So I'm kind of okay with this. I think this will be better for the long term here. Farig will not die, but Farig will not be going for Trick Room either against this, because there's no world where we go for Trick Room with Wellpawn here, unless they were opening up for Blood Moon endgame. But if I can clear through the Wellpawn and get Blood Moon, Farig down weak enough, Blood Moon won't really be that threatening to the Gallade route, so I'm kind of fine with that. I can get enough damage on the Farig to where I'm not going to care too much. They're gonna burn Terra anyway, which is actually huge. That means no like Terra Normal Blood Moon in the back with like Throat Spray, which could have punished us. They're gonna burn the Terra Water on the Ogre Pond. I'm still gonna take a ton of damage from the special attack boosting, helping hand boosted, second terrain boosted, expanding force. And it won't really matter that they're going for this because they're still just gonna die. They're absolutely still gonna die. And my helping hand is only going to make sure of that. Now they're gonna go for helping hand to their Well Pond too. That's fine because Terra Water Ivy Culture will absolutely not KO my Iron Crown. And I think they're just gonna drop before it. Oh, we're actually faster than them, which is even funnier. They don't actually drop, which is still fine though. Farig still takes a ton of damage from that though, and we do know that we now outpace, which is actually very good information. Because I can just click the Expanding Force here, plus Dazzling Gleam, and that should pick off my opponent very confidently. They won't get off another attack. See, even with that Helping Hand boost and the Terra boost, they still do not kill. I don't even think a crit would have killed actually. I think it would have just barely took the hit. So we'll just go for the Gleam and Expanding Force here. They're probably going to forfeit. No, they're going to go for Spiky. Okay, that's fine. They're trying to solid terrain. But the Farig will still get punished by that because I'm pretty sure Gleam plus Expanding Force will pick them off. If it doesn't pick them off, I'm kind of okay with that because again, we've set up the field now for Iron Moth to do a ton of damage here. We know that the Iron Crown does outpace the Ogre Pond, so I'm really not too concerned. Even if we can't survive the turn, they're gonna go for Trick Room. Trick Room is fine. I should still take this very confidently. The Well Pond will probably die to Gleam at this point. Just to be safe, I am gonna go for a Follow Me here and just go Expanding Force. Actually, no, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Follow Me because realistically, their Farig is probably slower than my Ndidi, so I'm just gonna go for Follow Me because if they're gonna get an attack off either way, I may as well try and stop the hit if possible. In the worst case scenario, again, I think that Gallade can probably confidently bully their team. I doubt the Farig will really put up too much pressure. They're gonna go for Gleam, that's fine. Iron Crown actually choose that, very much so. And the Ivy Cudgel from Ndidi is now gonna go off into my, from Ogre Pond it's gonna go off into my Ndidi. Which actually means that they're gonna be down to just Blood Moon versus Iron Crown and Gallade. And I can definitely bully that very easily. There's not really a lot that they can actually do about that. And just to be safe, what I'll probably do is I'm gonna probably just go for Trick Room of my own and then Expanding Force. Because I'm confident Gallade will take a hit. Iron Crown is kind of a lost cause at this point, but I'm confident Gallade can take a hit from Blood Moon. If they're gonna let me go for a Expanding Force into them, that's fine. If they don't go for the Blood Moon, though, into my Gallade, I should be pretty good to just get my Trick Room back. Well, the Trick Room cleared, I should say. And then I win the game. So we're gonna go for the Expanding Force here. That should cook Blood Moon. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And then I'm pretty sure they're just going to forfeit, to be honest. I cannot imagine, unless they're really willing to go for the single target in a Gallade, which getting rid of their Blood Moon is pretty beneficial, because I'm assuming that Hyper Voice will not KO my Iron Moth, at least not from full. And if they're going to go for Earth Power, then they let me get off another attack for free. They're going to go for the Blood Moon into the Gallade. That doesn't even kill. Holy shit, Gallade is bulky. Either that or that is a very weak Blood Moon. I'm okay with whatever the result is. But see, this is perfect. Because Hyper Voice definitely would not have killed my Gallade. Which, again, just goes to show that this Blood Moon is really not going to punish my team that well. We've lost our terrain advantage, but that's fine. Iron Crown should pick up the kill guaranteed now. And just to be sure, we do still have the Sacred Sword on Gallade, which, again, guaranteed kill. Even if Blood Moon somehow does manage to outpace us with like a Quick Claw or some shit. And even if that was the fact, we still had Iron Moth in the back, and they would have needed to pop Quick Claw twice in a row to actually win that game. So, okay, we got a solid win. With that said, let's get into game number 2. All right, for game number 2, we're taking on looks like it's a solo Dozo next to Tinglu team. This looks like someone tried to build like the Howl team, but kind of missed the point of why you run the solo Dozo. Though maybe it's cursed. It could be cursed. It could just be like Yawn next to Comfei. Either way, it's definitely a balanced team for sure. My line into this is probably gonna be. I feel like the Ndidi Gallade just kind of screams to me, though Ndidi Iron Moth also might not be bad. I think that Ndidi Iron Moth actually might be the play. Because Ndidi Iron Moth puts up some decent pressure against anything that's not like a Tinglu lead. And even then, Tinglu can't really punish both my Pokemon confidently. I'll go with Gallade in the back, and I think my last mon is probably going to be the Ursaluna, as Ursaluna really rips apart anything that's not Dondozo. And for Dondozo, I should still be fine. I think I could just overwhelm it, to be honest. Because, again, it doesn't really have the best ways to break my team. And especially if it's not Curse or like Iron Defense Body Press, I can really just facade through that thing and not really mind. It'll still probably do at least half, if not more. So I'm kind of okay with that. I'm actually very okay with that. So my opponent is going to lead off with Flutter Mane and Urshifu Rapid. Okay, so this is Rapid Food. Rapid Food is actually a lot scarier, I will say, but it's still not too bad. My Indeedee going to get up a nice Psychic Terrain here, and meanwhile my opponent is going to go for, let's see, what's their Flutter Mane? Is it going to be Booster? Is it going to be Booster Flutter Mane, or is it just going to be like Specs? I'm kind of fine either way. They are going to be Booster. That's probably Booster Speed then, since they're activating first. Still not really a concern, to be honest. My Iron Moth is also going to prop. No, never mind. It's Power Up. I forgot it's not Booster. Still fine. Still honestly very fine. I'll go for a Trick Room here. And then, meanwhile, with my Iron Moth, I feel confident in just going for like a Sludge Wave here. No, I definitely don't want to go for Sludge Wave. Never mind. I think I'm just going to go for the Meteor Beam into my opponent's Urshifu and just kind of try and punish that way. They're going to go for protecting their Flutter Mane, which is actually very fine because my Iron Moth, at the very least, we can scout. They're going to go for U-turn actually, which is so okay. That turn could not have worked out better for me, frankly, because we now know a few things. We know that they're Scarf Urshifu for 1. 2, we know that they're clicking U-turn, which is great. They're Flutter Mane click protect is a very bad passive turn. Yeah, and the Ogrepon's now going to have to take a Meteor Beam, which is fucking amazing. Like, this turn accidentally worked out so well, and I don't think my opponent realizes just how badly they fucked up. Meanwhile, I can just kind of go for Sludge Wave now, because I have Trick Room advantage somehow against most of their team, unless they bring in, like, a Tinglu. And if they bring in a Tinglu, I can kind of just let my Pokemon go down, because I don't really care at that point. And then just go for Gallade and Ursaluna and click the game-winning buttons that way. Also, we've already revealed they have Urshifu, they have the Ogrebon that's dead, and they have Flutter Mane. They're probably going to forfeit losing their Ogrebon, I'll be honest. They probably have Dozo as their last mon. I don't think they have Tinglu against this team. Maybe they do. Maybe they're fearing psyspam that much, but oh, they do have Tinglu. Okay. Still honestly fine. I'm very okay with that. I think my play is then to just go for Terra, because looking at it, so Terra Grass Terra Grass is really good on Gallade. I'm just going to let them die. I'll go for Gleam, just because it's a good Sash Break on Flutter Mane in a worst case. And then I'm going to go for I feel like going for a Protect here is decent. And then letting Gallade come in next to whatever comes in next and be fine. They're going to go into Urshifu here. So now Urshifu needs to take a Gleam that it did not want to have to take, which is huge for us. That's actually very huge for us. They're going to probably go for like Sand Tomb or Stomping Tantrum into my Iron Moth. I'm kind of okay with that. They're going to go for Sand Tomb, yep, into my Iron Moth. That is perfect. And this Gleam will go off. This Gleam will go off. It's going to be nice, just chip. It's not going to do a lot, but it is chip at the end of the day. I can actually just go for the Terra Grass and then go for like a Gleam, and that'll actually pick off Urshifu unironically. Yeah, that'll probably pick off Urshifu, and I have Burn Chance too, which is great. I don't really need to fear Urshifu either because I'll have Terrain up, so I don't need to fear like Jet or anything. Yeah, this is okay. This is okay. Actually, knowing what they have in the back, this is very fine. Because in the end, my Ursaluna wins anyway, which they cannot really stop. So, we're kind of cooking. The Moth is actually going to do some really decent damage against their team. They don't really have a lot for it at this point. They're going to go for Terra of their own. I'm curious as to what the Terra is, because either way, this is very workable. They're going to go for Terra on Urshifu, and that's going to be Terra Electric. Now, Terra Electric is interesting, because they're now actually losing their resistance to fire, which is amazing for us, because we have a +1 Heat Wave going on, and their Sand Tomb does jack. It does absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, this Gleam is going to do some okay damage. It's not going to do as much, but that's still decent damage, to be fair. We got a crit. Okay, that makes more sense. Heat Wave will absolutely murder this now. Perfect. Okay, Urshifu died. Urshifu died, and so did its Terra, which is huge. I can just go for Sludge Wave now, and I can go for Helping Hand, just to really murder the Flutter Mane even through Tinglu. And then, at that point, it's Tinglu versus, like, 3 Pokemon, because most likely I will lose the Indeedee to that. Iron Moth, I feel like, survives the turn, though. The worst thing I could do is Snarl, but I'm kind of fine if they go for Snarl, because I'll still be at neutral, and with the Helping Hand boost, that should still be fine. So we're going to go for Helping Hand here, and I'll go for Sludge Wave, and I'm just going to claim a kill. Again, I don't really think that Tinglu has a way to kill me in one shot because of the Terra Grass, so this unironically worked out very well for me. It was such a bad lead, actually, at the start, but because of one really bad play for them, it worked out so well for us. It could not have worked out better, to be honest. So I will definitely take that. That is so huge for us. We're going to get the Helping Hand off. This Sludge Wave will absolutely destroy Flutter Mane. I know it's neutral because of the Ghost typing, but it will still do a ton of damage. They'll go for Protect, that's fine. I can still poison the Tinglu potentially, which is good. They're going to go for Ruination. Honestly, still okay with this because they don't do enough damage to kill. They'll have to find a way to kill us on the next turn, which I'm okay with that. I'm actually probably just gonna go for follow me if this is their sequence of plays, because unless if they're going for like a snarl, I'm kind of okay with just letting a DD drop. So yeah, we'll just do that. We'll just do that. Because chip is chip still at the end of the day. We're going to have one more turn to Trick Room. That's perfectly fine. I'll go for follow me here, and then we're gonna go for Sludge Wave. We'll kill Indeedee. We'll get some good damage on Tinglu at least, because we've already gotten some really good chip on Tinglu. Fluttermane can't really kill us either in just a single hit, and I can kind of just go for like Wide Guard plus Earthquake, because I'll block it into my own Gallade, and then I can just Earthquake through both these Pokemon, and that'll probably be enough. They're gonna go for Body Press here. That's perfectly fine. Indeedee will drop. I could probably take out Moth. I feel like I could, or not Moth. I could take out Fluttermane, or at least get close to it. I could probably at least get the damage I need. That actually did a lot less than I thought, I can't lie. But this is still okay. This is still actually very okay. I'll bring in my Gallade and my Ursaluna here and just go for like a Wide Guard plus Earthquake. That'll at least pressure enough through my opponent's team, I feel like. The issue being is that Tinglu could be kind of threatening, but it's probably not going to do enough to my team. And if they go for like any sort of Protect here, I could still get around that because that just means they're letting me pop Guts, which should be okay. So Ursaluna and Gallade is going to come in. We'll just go for the Wide Guard and Earthquake because, again, they don't really stop it. Fluttermane definitely drops to that. I'm curious if Tinglu drops to that. Either way, it's not a huge deal because they've already burned Terra, which means that once the Fluttermane dies, I can just kill the Tinglu, which is great. They're going to definitely go for Gleam here because Gleam is objectively like that instinctual play you make. If they go for Moonblast, then that's fine. I don't really need Gallade that much to win the game because if they're going to go for Moonblast, that just means they'll die to Earthquake because Fluttermane is not bulky enough to take an Earthquake from this thing at neutral. They're going to go for Protection. Okay, perfect. This is fine. Because at this point, I can kind of just keep clicking Wide Guard. Actually, no. At this point, I probably just, with the combination of Fluttermane and Ursaluna left against, specifically against Tinglu, especially at this point, I think I just go for Headlong and Psycho Cut, and that should pick off. Earthquake will go off. We block it with Gallade. That is perfectly fine. Fluttermane does go for Protect, but the Tinglu will drop. The Tinglu will drop, and at that point, I can really just dedicate to Headlong Rush plus, oh, never mind. That actually doesn't do any damage. Okay. So with that in mind, I actually do need to go for... I do have a little bit of predicament here. I do need to make kind of a prediction here. I think they're going to pursue killing the Ursaluna. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go for the Sacred Sword into Tinglu, and I'm going to go for Protect. This could lose me the game, to be fair. If they could Gleam, that could lose me the game, but I feel like Gallade can take a hit fine. I doubt they'll go for Moonblast, and they're booster speed anyway, and they don't have the booster. Oh, their Energy Ball. Oh, shit. Okay, so that worked out really well. That actually is going to be the thing that wins us the match, because now their Tinglu dies. Their Tinglu definitely dies, and I can proceed to go for Headlong plus Psycho Cut, and that definitely kills the Fluttermane here. So that should be game. That should be very much so game. So that works out well. That works out well. I will definitely take that. So we're going to go for Psycho Cut here into the Fluttermane, and I'm going to go for the Headlong Rush here into the Fluttermane. And guaranteed one of these Pokemon survives. I highly doubt that we'd lose to Gleam at this point. If we really did lose to Gleam, even still, the Gallade actually takes the Moonblast. So again, really terrifying Gallade. This thing is so impressive, by the way. Like, oh my goodness, this mon is dangerous. This is a very dangerous Pokemon. But I will definitely take that. We are now 2-0 with the team. We're getting close to that 20-minute mark, so with the team builder, this will probably go a bit over. So I'm going to probably wrap it up here, because around like 20 to 25 minutes is where I was aiming for these. But okay, we got some decent wins with this. I feel like as well, we showed off a lot of the team with this, so I'm very okay with ending it here. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. Check out the link to the paste as well as the rental code in the description below. I'm going to link all of that down below in case you guys want to try the team out yourselves. It's a very fun team in my opinion. And it managed to get us up to Master Ball, which is really huge. Like that win actually puts us in Master Ball, which is perfect. So the next video, we will be starting right in that Master Ball tier. So I think it's a very fitting place to end off. If you want to consider becoming a channel member as well, that'll be great. It's just a couple dollars a month. You get some nice bonus content, and it's also just a great way to show your support on the channel. Our current members are Zeke, Mia, Rao Sakura, Obo, Endless Gadgets, and Incog M. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means the world, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video, where we're going to be using a Shiftry Zapdos team. I cannot talk tonight. I'm so sorry. Until then, though, peace out, guys.